go really quick. They look so beautiful. Do you guys like those shirts? They are hot off the press. We literally just got them. I think they were picked up yesterday. But, you know, before you leave here today, you know, I hope your heart has been impacted by the stories that you've heard. But when you look up here, you know, it represents so many families. It represents children that we're not seeing. It represents husbands that are back home. It represents moms that are praying. You know, I was thinking Mother's Day is coming up, and, you know, as sisters, you know, and aunts and mothers and grandmothers, you know, God made each and every one of us with some qualities, with nurturing and caring, and we have gentleness, and, you know, we have such expectations when we're growing up. And, you know, what happens is that when abuse sets in, you know, when addiction sets in, it wipes away that peace. You know, when a child, you know, so many times addiction is also tied to, you know, molestation and sexual abuse. And they actually did this survey, and I was looking online and looking at things that almost 65–70% of women that are addicted had some type of issue happen to them while they were a child. You know, that's not fair, because God put all these qualities in their heart. But when things like that happen, when abuse happens, when neglect happens, they're just robbed of all their peace and potential. That's what the enemy thinks. That's what the world thinks. And you know, unfortunately, that's what so many women out there think. They're ready to give up. I think you guys remember there was probably a point in your life when you felt like, you know what, I'm done. You know, and maybe nobody loves me, or maybe nobody's thinking of me. I looked at something online. I just want to read this really quick. This is according to SAMHSA, who is the drug abuse, like for the United States, they collect all the data. And it says, when we look at our data, we find 6.9 million women are needing treatment but are not getting it. Speaking at an open plenary, Dr. Clark cited from SAMHSA's National Survey on Drug, we have 118,000 women on a waiting list for treatment services. But that is overshadowed by the 6.5 million women that are seeking the care and not getting it. And the #1 reason, or #2 reasons, that they cannot get the help is, one, they don't know where to go. You know, I ask people all the time, have you ever heard of New Life for Youth or the Mercy House? And a lot of people say, no, I've never heard of it, until they come to maybe an event like this. That's one of the #1 reasons they don't know where to go. But the second one, they said because they have no insurance and no finances. And New Life for Youth has never, ever, ever, ever turned away anybody because of finances. Never, not in 41 years. And, you know, I can tell you that I've watched my parents do this for 4 decades. A life of sacrifice, sacrifice for us kids. If you were at church Sunday morning, you heard me speak on that. It's like nothing you can ever imagine. It's when you're called and God gives you something that you're supposed to do, none of that materialism, none of that stuff, you know, it doesn't matter. You're going to do whatever it takes to feed them, bring them in the door, work with them, and see their lives changed. And the Mercy House, let me tell you something. We have an induction fee. Some can give and some can't. We've never turned anybody away. But outside of that, from the day one they walk into this program, we charge them absolutely nothing. And you know what? Somebody once said, that's a free program. And you know, now that I've kind of taken on the role in the last 10 years that my parents do, I say there's nothing about it that is free. Because we all have to work, and the girls work. We have a thrift store, we have a car wash, and people give. But I can tell you this, more than anything today, I hope that in your heart you will take on and look at one of these girls and say, I'm going to sponsor her to make it all the way through. You know, just recently we had an economic downturn. Our ministry faced challenges like we have never, ever faced. And I'm telling you from the bottom of my heart, I was at home alone, and I was literally in tears, and I said, my God, and I'm looking at all the homes, and I'm trying to figure out a plan of how to keep them open. And I got up at 2 o'clock in the morning, and I sat down at my computer, and I put how to survive, and this was in 2011, how will we make it the next year? And it was right around, actually it was about October, and I sat down, and I was up till 4 in the morning. Almost the sun had come out, and I'd made this list of things we'd have to cut back, people we'd have to let go, things that we'd have to stop doing. Everything that we can take away so that we won't take away an opportunity for one of these girls behind us. And our ministry went through changes, and we've sacrificed, and every vehicle in this whole entire ministry, even our ranch, are at 300,000 miles. Y'all broke down the other day, and y'all are laughing because it's all the time, right? No, don't say that. But you know what? If it wasn't for this church, we were actually getting them rides to and fro everywhere. And a church here locally, Clover Hill Assembly of God, stepped up and bought the girls a new van. And we give God the glory for that. And you know what? I'm so thankful to every one of the companies that gave here today. And it's fun, and we bid on it, and you can do the math. I mean, there's $50 here, $12 here, and all of that. And it's fun, and it makes the day enjoyable, but it doesn't keep the doors open. And I want to ask each and every one of you, you have a card that's sitting at your table. You know, along with me, you know, we're all women, and we have, you know, I kind of feel like we have a responsibility to reach out to other women. You can go back to your workplace, let them know about the Mercy House. When you come to this event next year or in the fall when we do our hat event with tea, make sure this tent is filled up with people that believe in reaching out to our sisters and our daughters and mothers that are here. But you know, today I need you to stand with me to make a change and to say, I'm going to champion the cause. I'm going to work. I'm going to stand with Rosalinda. I believe in what you're doing. I believe what your family has done for 4 decades. And I want to make a difference to keep these doors open. Our bookkeeper, I know she's been running around all day, Christy. I don't see her under here right now. But she came to me. She said, I need to talk to you because we have an interesting situation with the Mercy House. And they don't even know this conversation. But I'm going to share it with you today. And the bank that holds the loan on the Mercy House came to us out of the blue. I was actually out of town at a speaking engagement, and I came back, and we owe $88,000 on this gorgeous building and on this property. We probably, I think we bought, the purchase price was like $300,000, and we put over $500,000 into this home to bring it up to institutional zoning. This is zoned like a hospital. The amount of waterways and fire extinguishers and fire suppression systems, everything in this building was just enormous. But it's going to be for life. Amen? And so they came to us and they said, look, we have the loan, but we don't want to hold it anymore. And I said, well, what does that mean? You know, well, I don't understand. You talk English to me. What does this mean? I got women living in a home. We've paid you every month. We've never been late. What does that mean? They said, well, we review our mortgages, and we just are getting away from charities and churches, and we don't want to hold your loan anymore. So we went crazy, going everywhere. I was talking to people, knocking on doors. In case you ever wonder what I do during the day.